So how could he have done this to me if he loved me? He must not have loved me because he had an affair. I know that feeling. I understand that feeling. And I'm going to challenge that idea a little bit. So if you're willing to be challenged a little in that thought process and be open to the possibility that maybe they could have loved you and still made this bad choice. I don't know. I'm curious if maybe this could help you think about it a little bit differently, in the hopes that if you are choosing to stay in your relationship, that this could help you heal and be able to lean in and have a really healthy marriage on the other side. So stay tuned. I know this might not be a really popular idea that I'm going to express here, but I'm one that I'm always thinking about things, and I'm always trying to process through things and try to see different sides of issues, such as why someone would have an affair in the first place. And I recognize that good people can make really horrible choices. So you're listening to someone, myself here, who I don't believe that people are evil when they make this choice to have an affair. Instead, I think there was something else going on inside of them that they just didn't know what to do with. It's a horrible choice, and it's extraordinarily hurtful and damaging to families. And it's so sad to me today that so many folks are turning to infidelity to solve their own personal issues. The damage it causes is tremendous. However, their love for their spouse, I think, is the question that I want to talk about here. I have heard and seen comments and ideas out there that, if they loved you, they never would have cheated. Oh, well, they must not love you if they cheated on you. And then we become confused, especially if you're watching this and you're a spouse who stayed after the affair, and your spouse is pledging their love to you, and you're going, well, how in the world could you love me and still have done this to me? I get it. That's a big question, and it's an honest question. I want to kind of help us take a step back from that idea for a moment and maybe think about it differently, okay? And I know there are going to be people who completely disagree with this, and that's fine. This is your choice. I'm just offering an opportunity to think about this a little bit differently, okay? Love is two things. It's both a feeling and it's an action. You feel lovingly towards someone and you act lovingly towards somebody. It's a dual type of thing. It is an emotion and it's an action. So we don't believe someone could feel love for us if they're not acting lovingly towards us. And I think that's what's at play here. You see, we hurt people we love all the time. I mean, if you think about it, we can love our parents as teenagers and be, crazy, rebellious teenagers who hurt our parents constantly. We can love our siblings but get really angry at them and give them the silent treatment, hurt their feelings over and over again. We can love our spouse but still treat them poorly because we are struggling with something inside of us. The feeling of love and the action of love can happen together or separate, okay? And what I mean by that is you can feel love towards someone, but your actions are not loving. Or you can act lovingly towards someone and really not be in love with them. It can go both ways. So a person who's in a committed relationship, a marriage, and they've committed to being faithful and honest, and I'm going to love you for the rest of my life, could feel love towards their spouse, but still make a choice that is not loving towards their spouse. And I know this is hard to reconcile, and I feel that tension myself because I wrestled with this too and wondered when my husband was telling me he loved me if he really meant that. Or was he just saying that to keep me in the relationship? And here's how I reconcile that. I believe my husband's a good man. Okay, you might not feel that way about your spouse. I felt like my husband was a good man. And I struggled a lot with how a man that I felt was so good could make such a bad choice, could do something so hurtful and painful towards me. But when I was able to look at this, and this is what I talk about in other videos, when I say, a fair recovery, infidelity is not black and white. There are no black and white answers to infidelity. Infidelity lives in the gray because we're dealing with human beings who are complex. There is nothing black and white about a human being. There's a lot of complex things happening underneath a person's choice to have an affair. I'm not excusing it whatsoever, but it's complex. It's not as simple as just saying, oh, hey, great, no problem. I'm going to wake up this morning and I'm going to run out and I'm going to go cheat on my partner today. There's always something really complex happening underneath there. That's why it's so important that wayward spouses go to counseling and figure all that out so that they don't do it again, okay? But if we've got this gray issue hanging out here, it's not as simple as do you love me or not. It's more about how you were choosing to love me or not love me. Being committed to me within our marriage is part of how you're loving me. And you made a decision to not be committed to me in the marriage, which wasn't loving. You made a commitment to be honest with me be faithful in our marriage, to be honest. Instead, you lied. That's the opposite of loving me. You were hurting me. So you may have loved me, dear husband. You may have loved me, but you were not showing me you loved me. You were leaving out the second half of that combination. So I'm wondering how we, as betrayed spouses, could think about this differently. Could our spouse love us, but make choices that don't show love for us? Could it be that our spouse was choosing to show that level of affection to someone else out of a lack of feeling in their own self, something hurting in them, some pain they're struggling with, some lack of feeling lovable, some ego issue they're having, some hurt they're having that they don't know what to do with. So instead of choosing to lean into the loving relationship they have with their spouse, they're choosing this other person over here for whatever reason. And it's not that they don't love us. It's just they don't know how to connect with us like that. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they don't feel safe telling us about what's going on. Whatever it is, it's not because they don't love us. It's that they don't know how to lean in for that. They chose an easier, safer way because they didn't want the challenge. Perhaps they're afraid of conflict. Oh, we have a lot of conflict avoidance, don't we? A lot of folks out there avoid conflict. So instead of talking to us and loving us through honest communication, they lied. You can feel something and act differently, right? We can all do that. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you're going to act on it. And I believe perhaps that's what happened with our spouses. I believe they could simultaneously love us and choose to show us a deceptive side of themselves, or choose to not demonstrate love out of gaslighting us, or being with someone else, or whatever it is. It's confusing, and I think it does create a lot of dissonance with us, correct? It is hard to reconcile that. It's two conflicting values. You love me, but you lied to me. You love me, but you cheated on me. We're trying to reconcile these two things, and it's hard, and cognitive dissonance plays a role in that. We're trying to make it make sense. But could it be that they did love us, do love us, but they were not leaning into the action of love? I don't know. Something to think about, okay? I'm not going to tell you how to think, and I'm not going to tell you how to feel, okay? But that's something to consider, especially if you're trying to lean into your marriage and help it heal, okay? That could be an important step to helping the two of you move beyond this, because we can get stuck on the hamster wheel of, I don't really believe him when he tells me he loves me. We can get stuck on that. But ask yourself, could it be that he felt love towards me, feels love towards me, but he chose not to show me love in the way he needed to in a committed marriage? Is he showing you love now? Is he doing both now? Is he consistently leaning into that now? Because that's the expectation moving forward, right? Okay, well, if you love me, you need both sides of that. I need to know you love me, period. Both feeling and action. I need to have both. Okay? I don't know, just think about it. Now, coaching asks these hard questions. And I challenge people to think through things. I had to work through this myself. And so if you're working through this on your own and you're thinking, I need help with this because I can't wrap my brain around it. If you're looking for a coach, I would love to talk to you. Challenging these core beliefs, challenging, what am I thinking about this? How am I leaning into this? Is an important step toward our own healing and our own growth. You can book a free consultation with me below, and I've also got some freebies I invite you to take advantage of. Grab them. Hopefully they're helpful to you. Also, I have a Facebook group I'd love for you to join as well. So if you're struggling with this concept, start thinking about it. See where you land. Okay, again, I'm not going to tell you how to think or feel. I'm just going to challenge, because I think we need to be challenged on how we're seeing things for the sake of the relationship and moving forward. Think that through a little bit and see where you come out.